Namaste everyone. In the last video, we have derived an expression for Bohr magneton, right? Today let us see the principle and working of moving coil galvanometer. Here MCG means moving coil galvanometer. So before that, let us see what is a galvanometer. What do you mean by a galvanometer? So galvanometer is a device which is used to measure weak current or voltage. So in order to measure current, we have another device which is called as ammeter, and to measure voltage we have voltmeter. Then what is the difference between galvanometer and ammeter? Because both the devices are used to measure current. Resistance of ideal ammeter is always approximately is equal to 0. This galvanometer is having some resistance, that's why it is not possible to use this galvanometer directly as ammeter. So for that, what we have to do? We have to connect one low resistance in parallel with the galvanometer. Then that whole setup works as ammeter. Now let us see what is the principle behind this galvanometer or moving coil galvanometer. Principle. We know that in case of a rectangular coil which is placed in the uniform magnetic field, when a current carrying coil, and this is connected to the external circuit, when current flows through the coil, this coil is placed in the uniform magnetic field. So this current carrying coil is placed in the uniform magnetic field B. When current flows through the coil, when current flows through this arm, this is A, B, C, D. ABCD is a rectangular coil and I is a current flowing through the coil, and this coil is placed in the uniform magnetic field. When current flows through this arm, what happens? So this is the direction of magnetic field B, and this is the direction of L, or it is the direction of I. Both are perpendicular to each other, theta is equal to 90 degree. So the force acting on this arm, F is equal to B I L sin theta. Angle between these two, theta is equal to 90 degree, sin 90 is 1. So force acting on the arm, F is equal to B I L. Here L is nothing but the length. If A is the length of the arm, then instead of L you have to write A. So this is the expression for force, magnitude of force. Now let us see what is the direction of force. In order to find out the direction of force, you can use Fleming's left hand rule. So according to Fleming's left hand rule, thumb gives the direction of force, forefinger gives the direction of magnetic field, and middle finger gives the current. So current is flowing in this direction, magnetic field is in this direction, therefore F is inwards. This is the direction of force, right? So this is the direction of force on the arm AB. Similarly, what is the force on the arm CD? This is I or L, this is B, they are perpendicular to each other, theta is equal to 90 degree, sin 90 is 1. So the force acting, F is equal to BIA, where A is the length. So their magnitudes are equal. What about the direction? Here in this arm, the current is flowing in downward direction. So current is flowing in this direction. This is the direction of magnetic field. So the direction of force is outwards. This is the direction of force, F. The net force is 0. Due to these two forces, a torque will act on the coil, right? If this is a coil, this is one arm, this is another arm, On this arm, the direction of force is like this. On this arm, the direction of force is like this. Due to these two equal and opposite forces, the coil will start to rotate. This is called as torque, right? Due to torque, the object will start to rotate. The object will rotate, or we can have rotational motion due to the torque. On these two arms, the forces are equal and opposite, and they act like this. Okay? If forces act like this, then due to these two forces, net force is 0, but we don't have any torque. But due to these two forces, we have torque, and due to that torque, the coil will rotate in the presence of magnetic field. So, this is the basic principle involved in moving coil galvanometer. Okay, what do you mean by torque? Torque is nothing but force into perpendicular distance, that we have seen in the last video, right? While deriving the expression for torque, we have seen all these things. So, tau is equal to F into perpendicular distance. F is BIA, and into perpendicular distance is nothing but torque. So, the principle of moving coil galvanometer is, when a current carrying coil is placed in the uniform magnetic field, it experiences a torque. So, this is the principle. When a current carrying coil is placed in the uniform magnetic field, it experiences torque, right? So, torque is nothing but, it is the force into the perpendicular distance between the two forces. Now, let us see the working of moving coil galvanometer, or how it works, how this moving coil galvanometer works. So, for that we need two permanent magnets. So, this is the north pole and this one is the south pole. These two are the pole pieces of the magnet, and here we have that coil. Okay, here we have the coil, and in the coil we have n number of turns. This coil is made up of n turns. Okay, so this is nothing but the coil which is having n number of turns, and this coil is placed inside a soft iron core. So, this is the soft iron core. Here we have the coil. This is the coil, only the upper portion is visible. So, this is coil having n number of turns, and here we have a spring. So, this is the spring. Okay. So, this is soft iron core, and this is the coil. This is nothing but the coil having n number of turns. This is the spring and this is the soft iron core. So, this soft iron core makes the field radial. We know that the field lines are always directed from north pole to south pole. So, like this we have the field lines. So the field lines are always radial. So this soft iron core makes the field lines radial, and also due to this soft iron core, or this soft iron core keeps the plane of the coil always parallel to the magnetic field. Okay. So and then here we have one needle, and here we have a scale. Okay. So this is the scale, and in order to show the deflection we need one pointer, and this is the pointer, and this coil is connected to the external circuit. Okay. So this whole setup is connected to the external circuit. When it is connected to the external circuit, we know that current flows through the coil. So current, I is the current which is flowing through the coil. So current flows through this coil. We know that when current flows through the coil, the force acting on the arms. So in case of a rectangular coil having only one turn, in case of a rectangular coil having only one turn, we have four arms. Current flows like this. Okay. Force acting on this arm, F is equal to B I into, let it be A, length is A and breadth is B. B I into A, force acting on this arm is B I A, force acting on this arm is also F is equal to B I into A. Okay. So this coil is parallel to the magnetic field. So F is equal to BIA, F is equal to BIA. What is the direction of force? On this arm, the force is acting in this direction. Here the force is acting in this direction. So the perpendicular distance between them is nothing but B. So F is equal to BIA, here also F is equal to BIA. Due to these two equal and opposite forces, torque will act on the coil, and due to that torque the coil will start to rotate, right. So the torque acting on the coil, tau is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So tau is equal to, expression for force is BIA into perpendicular distance is B, so into B. So tau is equal to BI A into B. A into B is nothing but area of the rectangle. So area of the rectangle is A, where A is equal to AB, area of the rectangle. So tau is equal to BIA. This is the expression for torque acting on the coil. Only because of these two forces, torque will act on the coil. These two forces will cancel with each other. The net force acting on the coil will be 0, but there is torque which is acting on the coil. Due to that torque, the coil will rotate. Tau is equal to BIA. So the expression for torque is BI into A. This is when the coil is having only one turn. Here we have already mentioned that this coil is having n number of turns. Therefore, the torque tau is equal to n into BIA, right. So in case of n number of turns, tau is equal to n BI into A. This is the expression for torque. Now let us see what is the use of this spring. When this coil rotates, the galvanometer shows deflection, right. I is a current which is flowing through the coil. When current flows through the coil, what happens? This whole setup or the coil is placed in the uniform magnetic field. At every point, strength of the magnetic field is same. When this is placed in the uniform magnetic field and when I is a current flowing through the coil, forces will act, and due to those forces we have torque. So, due to the torque, the coil will rotate. When it rotates, this galvanometer or the needle of the galvanometer shows deflection, okay, like this. Earlier the needle was here, and when it rotates, the needle comes here. This is how it shows the deflection, okay. So, this is angular deflection phi. Angular deflection is represented by phi. When the needle shows or the pointer shows deflection due to the torque, tau is equal to NBI into A, the pointer will move, okay. When it comes here, the spring will provide a counter torque in order to have a steady angular deflection. Now, let us see what is the expression for counter torque which is given by the spring. We know that in case of a spring, one end of the spring is fixed to the rigid support and to the other end we have attached a load. When force is applied, this will stretch or it will elongate like this. Here we have displacement x, right? X is the displacement. This is the direction of force. When we apply force, restoring force will be developed within the spring, right? So, the restoring force is directly proportional to displacement. As F increases, displacement also increases. This restoring force is always equal and opposite to the applied force. So, F is directly proportional to the displacement. F is equal to some constant k into x. Here you have to put one negative sign. Negative sign indicates that the x and F, they are in opposite direction. So, F is equal to minus k into x, where k is a constant and it depends on the spring. If k value is large, then we can say that the spring is a stiff spring. If k value is less, then we can say that the spring is not a stiff spring. So, k is called as spring constant, or k is equal to F by x. Force per unit displacement is called as spring constant and it depends on the spring. This is when we have the displacement, okay. Here we are having torque. So, the coil is rotating. Here we have rotational motion. Here the torque tau is directly proportional to angular displacement, right? Or here angular deflection is represented as phi. So, torque is directly proportional to phi. Here force is directly proportional to displacement, but here the coil is rotating, therefore we have torque, and the torque is directly proportional to angular deflection phi. Torque is equal to some constant k into phi, and that k is called as torsional constant of the spring, okay. Here we call it as spring constant and here we call it as torsional constant of the spring. So, tau is equal to k into phi, it depends on the spring. Tau is equal to k into phi, or k is equal to tau by phi. So, this is the counter torque which is produced by the spring, otherwise the needle will move like this. In order to bring this needle to the original position, we need one counter torque, and that torque is produced by the spring. In equilibrium, in equilibrium, this torque and the torque which is given by the spring, both are equal. In equilibrium, NIAB will be equal to K into phi. So, NIAB is equal to K into phi. This is in equilibrium. So, in equilibrium, NIAB will be is equal to K into phi, where phi is the angular deflection, K is a constant, NIAB is equal to K phi, or phi is equal to angular deflection, phi is equal to NIAB divided by K, or phi by I is equal to NAB by K phi by I is equal to NAB divided by K, where N is the number of turns in the coil, A is the area, B is the magnetic field, and K is the torsional constant of the spring. It is constant for a given spring. So, the ratio of angular deflection and current is equal to NAB by K, and this is constant for a given galvanometer. Okay? For a given galvanometer, this ratio is always constant, and this ratio is called as current sensitivity of the galvanometer. Phi by I is called as current sensitivity of a galvanometer. Current sensitivity of a galvanometer. Phi by I is called as current sensitivity of a galvanometer, and it is a constant for given galvanometer. Now, let us see what do you mean by current sensitivity. Current sensitivity is nothing but deflection per unit current. Deflection, angular deflection per unit current is called as current sensitivity. That is, if you have two galvanometers, so this is a galvanometer and this is another galvanometer. In both the galvanometers, current is same. You just imagine that I is same in both the galvanometers. For the same current or for the same I, the first galvanometer shows this much angular deflection and the second one shows this much angular deflection for the same current. So, here we can say that the second galvanometer is more sensitive to current, right? The second one is more sensitive compared to first one. This is nothing but the current sensitivity of given galvanometer. So, deflection per unit current is called as current sensitivity, and the SI unit of current sensitivity is deflection. Angular deflection is measured in divisions per current is measured in ampere. So, division per ampere is the SI unit of current sensitivity, and it is defined as deflection per unit current, and it is constant for given galvanometer. So, now we can say that the current sensitivity of a galvanometer depends on, what are the factors on which current sensitivity of a galvanometer depends? So, we say that current sensitivity depends on first one, number of turns in the coil. Number of turns in the coil. Second factor is it depends on area of the coil. It depends on strength of the magnetic field. strength of the magnetic field, and it depends on torsional constant K. How it depends? Current sensitivity of a galvanometer is directly proportional to the current sensitivity. We have to increase the number of turns in the coil. Second point is, it is directly proportional to area of the coil. If we increase the area of the coil, then also we can increase the current sensitivity of given galvanometer. Strength of the magnetic field. So current sensitivity is directly proportional to strength of the magnetic field. That means if B is increased, then current sensitivity also increases, and it is inversely proportional to torsional constant. If you use a spring of low K value, a spring having very low K value, then you can increase the current sensitivity of given galvanometer. Okay. So current sensitivity is directly proportional to number of turns in the coil, it is directly proportional to area of the coil, it is directly proportional to magnetic field, and it is inversely proportional to K, which is a constant. And the SI unit of current sensitivity is division per ampere. So similar to this current sensitivity, we have voltage sensitivity. Let us see what do you mean by voltage sensitivity. So voltage sensitivity means deflection per unit voltage. Deflection per unit voltage. That is, we know that phi is equal to NAB by K into I, or phi by I is equal to NAB by K. Voltage sensitivity of a given galvanometer is nothing but the deflection per unit voltage, that is phi by V. Phi by V is equal to NAB into I divided by K into 1 by V. Phi by V, NABI by K divided by V. So what we get? Phi by V is equal to NAB by K into I by V. Same expression, I by V. We know that according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, or I by V is equal to I divided by V is equal to 1 by R. V by I is equal to R, therefore I by V is equal to 1 by R. So here I by V is nothing but 1 by R. So phi by V is equal to NAB divided by K into 1 by R. Right? So this is the expression for voltage sensitivity of given galvanometer. So deflection per unit voltage is called as voltage sensitivity of that galvanometer, and the voltage sensitivity is directly proportional to N, number of turns in the coil, it is directly proportional to A, area of the coil, and it is directly proportional to magnetic field, and it is inversely proportional to torsional constant K, and it is inversely proportional to R. What is R? R is the resistance of the coil. Now let us see what is the SI unit of voltage sensitivity. Deflection is measured in divisions per voltage is measured in volts. So division per volt is the SI unit of voltage sensitivity of given galvanometer. So this is how a moving coil galvanometer works. Okay. So moving coil galvanometer, in case of moving coil galvanometer, we have two permanent magnets, and between these two permanent magnets we have a coil and the coil is placed within a soft iron core. So this soft iron core makes the field radial, and also always it keeps plane of the coil parallel to the magnetic field, right. When current flows through the coil, what happens? Here we have one spring. When current flows through the coil, due to the torque, the coil will rotate. When the coil rotates, the galvanometer shows deflection. So this is the scale which shows the value of current or voltage. So this is a needle. So this needle shows deflection when the coil rotates. In order to give counter torque, or in order to have a steady angular deflection, we need counter torque, and the counter torque is given by this spring, similar to the displacement in case of a spring. So the counter torque is produced by this spring. So the expression for counter torque is tau is equal to K into phi. Torque is directly proportional to angular deflection phi, or torque is equal to some constant K into phi, and here K is called as torsional constant. In equilibrium, both the torques are equal. So this torque tau is equal to NIAB becomes equal to K into phi. So phi is equal to NAB I divided by K. This is the expression for angular deflection. So this deflection divided by I is called as current sensitivity of the galvanometer, and it is constant for given galvanometer. So it depends on N, A, B and K, and the SI unit of current sensitivity is division per ampere. Similar to this current sensitivity, we have voltage sensitivity. So phi by V is equal to NAB into I divided by K into 1 by V, and its SI unit is division per volt. This is also constant for given galvanometer. So the galvanometer cannot be used directly, as it is not possible to use the galvanometer directly as ammeter, because ammeter is having ideally very low resistance. We can convert this galvanometer into ammeter by connecting a very low resistance in parallel with the galvanometer. So it is not possible to use this galvanometer directly as ammeter. So this is the principle and working of moving coil galvanometer. Take down.